The 16-bit generation, I think, is where a lot of us really cut our teeth. We may have gotten our started on things like the NES and the Sega Master System, but the Genesis, the Super Nintendo, and the TurboGrafx is where it became a hobby. What's going on, everybody? I'm Jay. Welcome to Square Pegs. Today, I'm looking at some of those oft overlooked and maybe forgotten about classic 16-bit games that I think more people need to have their eyes on. We're kicking things off right now with one from the TurboGrafx. Now, really, a lot of stuff from the TurboGrafx could be on this list because, for me, it's all underrated. It's all overlooked because I don't really have a whole lot of experience with the console. I really desperately wanted to get one of the TurboGrafx mini systems when it released, but I wasn't ever able to find one at a good price. So, unfortunately, my experience with the console remains kind of a blank space. But there are a few games I know, and one of them that I really love is Air Zonk, which I think is a really fun shmup. It is a horizontal shmup starring definitely not Bonk, it's future Bonk, it's Zonk. It starts with a Z, not a B. And it's a really clever game. It's a little bit like Parodius, it's a little bit silly, it's decidedly not a serious shmup by any stretch of the imagination, at least not serious in so much as it's, you know, spaceships and stuff like that. It's just a dude flying around, he's basically a superhero. And while it doesn't take itself seriously in that regard, the gameplay is seriously fun and seriously difficult. It's a truly challenging title with really awesome gameplay and one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard. Like, I love the entire soundtrack to Air Zonk. It's amazing. If you haven't played this one, and I think that's probably a lot of folks here in the States because we just didn't have a whole lot of exposure to the TurboGrafx, you should check it out. Sometimes you don't need heavy action and crazy set pieces to have a fun game. Sometimes you just need a single screen and arcade action to bring you something awesome, just like Super Buster Brothers. I really enjoy this game. The concept is super simple. You play as a character, and you're popping balloons. And that's the whole game. You shoot up, you pop the balloons will split into smaller pieces, and you have to pop those as well without getting hit. It's a very simple concept to understand, and as someone who has kind of rediscovered his love of single-screen arcade games over the last few years, I wish that I had played this more when I was younger because I would have appreciated it longer. It's a really fun title. There's not a whole lot to say about it other than it's excellently made, it's beautifully designed, it's simple, and it's effective. Super Buster Brothers is an awesome good time. If you haven't played it, you absolutely should. Multiplayer is also a blast on this game. One of my favorite things about the YouTube retro gaming community is that I have discovered so many video games that I would have otherwise overlooked because of people like my friend John Riggs. John did his Capcom SNES ranking and rated Goof Troop really high. I was kind of taken aback by that because, I mean, it's Goof Troop. Wasn't a fan of the cartoon, really didn't have any desire to play the video game, but watching the way it played and hearing him heap praises upon it, I was really interested. And what I got when I finally played it was a really fascinating either single player or multiplayer action-adventure puzzle game starring Goofy and Max. And it's brilliant. It is an absolutely fantastic game that just works. Like, everything about it lands. There's nothing in this game that isn't fun. The character designs are great. The animations are wonderful. The music is fantastic. The gameplay is spectacular. The level layouts are fun. Capcom put everything into a game that was licensed based on an animated series that no one remembers. And that's pretty awesome. Goof Troop is a fantastic SNES title and literally one of my favorite Capcom games on that platform. What I wouldn't give for late 80s, early 90s Electronic Arts to come back because they were making such incredibly creative and weird-ass games like this one here, Haunting, starring Poltergeist. So the concept of this game is you're a ghost, and you're trying to scare the new family that has moved into the house that you're haunting. And that's the whole thing. That's the concept. You scare the hell out of people, you collect the ectoplasm that they drop, and eventually, if you run out of ectoplasm, you go to hell, and you have to collect ectoplasm down there to be able to get back to the haunting. It's a ridiculous concept, but it is such a fun title. It is so creatively made and so incredibly well laid out that it's easy to pick up, understand, and play, and it just screams the 1990s too. It is extra 90s aesthetic, and I love it. One of the best kind of overlooked and forgotten games on the Genesis too. I just absolutely adore this title. this is one of my favorite examples of classic licensed games that take the license and make it its own. It doesn't just rely on the plot of the movie, it just makes a great game great. And that's what True Lies is. It is based on, first off, it's based on a fantastic movie, first off. But the video game itself is amazing. It is a top-down shooter where you're playing as Arnold and you are just on a killing spree. That is the whole idea. You are going through each level, you're opening doors, you're shooting bad guys, you're collecting items, and you're working your way through each level. That's all there is to it. Like, there's other things you can pick up. There's weapons, there's conversations that you're having with virtual Tom Arnold. It is a... Yes, seriously. It's just a really great game. I remember when I first played this one, I was a big fan of the movie, and I didn't actually realize that there was a video game based on it until probably about 10 years ago. And when I played it, I was shocked at how excellent it was, because, frankly, I kind of believed at the time that most licensed games suck, and this kind of broke that trend. I really enjoy this one. It's absolutely worth picking up and checking out if you haven't played it, especially if you like top-down shooters. This game's amazing. It's funny, whenever I talk about Gain Ground as being like one of my favorite Genesis games, people always look at me like I've grown a second head. And it's a shame, because I really think this is a quality title that folks just don't give the time of day to, because, I mean, it's an older game and it's an arcade port for something that probably wasn't super popular in arcades, but for me, it's a really amazing signature Genesis experience. You play as a particular character, and the characters are tropes. They're basically, you can play as the barbarian dude, you can play as the cool guy with the machine gun, and as you play, you're going to rescue other characters that allow you to play as them the further into the game you get, because the idea is to complete each level, rescue different characters that you can unlock, and keep moving forward. Now, as you play, characters are going to die, and you're going to be then forced to use one of the characters that you rescued, and those are your lives, which I think is an incredibly clever way to set a title up. It's a little bit slow, and it's a little bit clunky by, I think, probably modern standards, but I still have a blast of this game, and it is still one of my favorite experiences on the Genesis. Now, I know I have talked about my adoration of the absolutely ridiculous concept that is Michael Jordan Chaos in the Windy City in the past, because let's count down the list of just insanity that is this video game. First off, it is a side-scrolling platformer where you play as Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time. You have magical basketballs that do different things, like freeze people. The game kicks off before a charity game from Scottie Pippen. The name of the bad guy is Maximus Cranium. It's ridiculous, but it is solid. The gameplay is fantastic. It is super fun. You are rescuing kidnapped children. What more could you ask for? And then you dig into the pedigree behind this game, and you realize that this was the brainchild of Amy Hennig. If you don't know who Amy Hennig is, she is one of the main voices behind the Uncharted series, so there's really no question as to why I love this game so much. You can see the dedication that would play forward and the sense of humor that would play forward into games like Uncharted, as well as Jak and Daxter, because of Hennig's voice. It's a wonderful game. It is silly, it is fantastic, it is fun, and it is goofy as hell. I absolutely love Michael Jordan Chaos in the Windy City. I discovered Krusty's Super Fun House when I was doing my ranking video of all Simpsons video games, and this is the one when I was looking at the list of games that I said, this game's going to be terrible, I don't want to even play this one, I'm just going to play it for 5 minutes and I'll move on. And instead what I got is like one of the best kind of puzzle platformers I've ever played. This is based on a game called Rat Trap. In fact, it's just a reskin of a game called Rat Trap, and it's amazing. You control Krusty, you have to work your way through the funhouse, you have to collect items and collect blocks to maneuver your way through the different levels, and you have to make sure that the rats are able to get into the rat killer, because Bart kills the rats. It's a Simpsons game. Of course he kills the rats. What else is he going to do? He wasn't going to be gentle and nice to them. It's a fantastic game. It is super fun. It is one that when I played it for the Simpsons ranking video, I immediately went out and made sure I picked it up. It is such a fun title and so well designed. I think I've talked about how much I enjoy the original Commando on this channel in the past, and I do. It's one of my favorites. And I have really liked every single sequel of Commando that has been released, whether it's Bionic Commando in all its subsequent sequels, or Commando 3, Wolf of the Battlefield, which was on Xbox Live Arcade, or this one here, Mercs. I love these games. There's just something so pure and simple and fantastic about a basic run-and-gun shooter, and especially when Capcom puts their design elements behind it, it's something that you know is just going to be hugely fun. This game is wonderful. It plays a lot like the original Commando. You play as a character. You're doing a chase behind on them. You're able to move around the level, and you shoot the enemies that show up on screen. There's huge boss fights at the end where you're fighting massive vehicles and things like that. It's really a fun title. It is something that I think holds up incredibly well because you don't need something that's a graphical powerhouse. It doesn't have to be this over-the-top crazy bullet hell. It's just fun. I really enjoy this one. It is a solid game and a great continuation of the Commando series. Whenever people ask me about my favorite SNES games, I always make sure to include this one here on the list, Kendo Rage. Now, if you haven't played Kendo Rage, this is essentially a ridiculous version of Valis. So it's Valis with a sense of humor. That's how I always describe it to people, because it really is. You play as a magical girl, she fights with a kendo stick, and you fight creatures throughout the land. You have to get to school, you have to ride the bus to get to school, there's big boss fights at the end of every level. It is a silly game that leans heavily into the overall ridiculousness of what the concept is. And it works. It's hard as hell. It's well designed. It has a great look. The music is fantastic. And it's just fun. And really, sometimes that's all you need. Like, you're not going into Kendo Rage looking for a deep, engaging storyline. You're looking to have fun. It gives you that in spades. It is such a wonderful title and such something that I remember when I first picked this up. I bought this from Video Sight and Sound in North Fort Myers, Florida, when they were clearancing out all their old stuff. And I got this complete in box for like $3. And I was just buying everything that they had because, I mean, why not? It was CIB SNES stuff. I had never heard of it. I had never played it. I got it home and immediately fell in love with it. There you have, my friends, 10 overlooked and underrated, I said it right this time, video games from the 16-bit generation that I think more people need to have their eyes on. Whether it's something like Kendo Rage on the Super Nintendo, which is just a magnificent, silly, and fun side-scrolling beat-em-up, to something like Goof Troop, which is a fantastic licensed puzzle game on the Super Nintendo. There are a ton of overlooked and underrated 16-bit titles, and I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments down below which ones you think are overrated and underlooked. Did it wrong? Damn it. Which ones do you think are underlooked? Which ones do you think are underrated and overlooked? I swear to God, I'm not doing this on purpose. I promise. My brain just doesn't work. Let me know in the comments. Until next time, folks, I've been Jay. Appreciate you hanging out with me today. Click the link on screen right now if you want to check out the 8-bit version I did a couple of months ago. Bean says you should subscribe to Daddy's channel, don't you, Beanie? Do you think people should subscribe to my channel? Yeah? Okay, thank you. You're a good helper. Until next time, remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.